The reality of freezing survival. When the grid collapses and winter closes in, the cold becomes one of humanity's most ruthless enemies. Most people believe that starting a fire is the ultimate solution, that flames equal safety. But in a true collapse, fire is not the friend you think it is. The moment you light one, you announce your presence to the world. Smoke rises like a signal flare during the day, visible for miles. At night, the glow can be seen even farther. In desperate times, that light can attract people, and not the good kind. Fire also demands constant attention. Wood must be gathered, air must flow, and everything must stay dry. When resources run out or the rain begins, your flame dies, leaving you colder and more vulnerable than before. Survival in the cold isn't just about heat, it's about understanding how your body creates and loses it. The key isn't to produce more warmth, but to trap what your body is already generating. When temperatures drop below freezing, the environment is constantly working against you. Every surface you touch, every gust of wind, every breath of cold air steals the energy your body is fighting to keep. That's the real enemy, the silent theft of heat. In a true grid-down scenario, smoke and light can give away your position, and firewood quickly becomes a rare resource. You can't rely on luck or old camping tricks. You need physics, the science of insulation, reflection, and retention. The reality of freezing survival is that your body already has the most reliable heat source you'll ever own. You just have to protect it, seal it in, and stop the world from stealing it. When you understand that, you stop thinking like a victim of the cold and start thinking like someone who refuses to die from it. 2. Your body is a furnace. Your body is an incredible piece of survival technology. Even when you're still, it's burning energy, roughly 100 watts of heat every hour, just to keep you alive. Every heartbeat, every breath, every muscle movement is part of a biochemical fire that never goes out. The real trick isn't generating more heat, it's keeping the heat you already make. The cold is a thief, and it steals your warmth in 3 silent but deadly ways. First, through conduction. When you sit or lie on cold ground, your body's heat seeps away into the earth like water into dry soil. Then comes convection. When wind rips away the thin layer of warm air, hugging your body, replacing it with cold air that drains your energy even faster. Finally, there's radiation, the invisible process of your body leaking infrared heat into the open air. Once you understand these enemies, the fight becomes clear. You must break the chain of heat loss. Keep your body insulated from the ground, block the wind, and trap every bit of warmth you can. Food becomes your fuel, movement your stoking fire, and smart layering your armor. You are a walking furnace, and as long as you keep that heat from escaping, you can survive even when the world around you freezes solid. Method 1. Turn clothes into a walking sleeping bag. When everything goes wrong and the temperature drops to levels that make metal bite your skin, the difference between freezing to death and staying alive often comes down to one thing: how well you use what's already on your body. Forget fancy gear or expensive survival jackets. In a true collapse or wilderness survival situation, your most valuable tool is knowledge of insulation, the art of turning ordinary clothing into a portable furnace. Your body is constantly generating heat, but the cold is constantly stealing it. The key is not to make more heat, but to stop that heat from escaping. That's where layering becomes your secret weapon. Base layer. Moisture is the enemy. The first rule of survival cold weather: stay dry. Moisture is the invisible killer in freezing conditions. Whether it's sweat, melted snow, or damp fabric, water conducts heat 25 times faster than air. That means the moment your clothes get wet, your body starts losing warmth at an alarming rate. The base layer's job is to pull that moisture away from your skin, to wick it out before it becomes a death sentence. Wool and synthetic materials like polyester or polypropylene are your best allies. Wool in particular keeps you warm even when it's damp because of its natural insulating fibers. But never wear cotton. Cotton soaks up water and holds it close to your skin like an icy sponge. In survival circles, there's a saying: cotton kills. Remember it. Insulating layer. Trap dead air. Once you've got a dry base, your next mission is to trap dead air. Still air is one of the best insulators in the world. That's why goose down, fleece, or even crumpled paper can keep you warm. They all trap tiny air pockets. The trick is not what the material is, but whether it can hold air still. In a survival scenario, you might not have fleece or a down jacket. No problem, you can improvise, stuff dry leaves, shredded newspaper, or even plastic bags between your layers. Tear apart a car seat or an old couch and use the foam padding as insulation. Even trash bubble wrap, packing peanuts, or styrofoam works because it traps air. It doesn't need to look good, it just needs to trap heat. Outer shell. Block the wind. Wind is one of the most aggressive thieves of warmth. Even a slight breeze can strip away the warm air your insulation has trapped. To stop this, you need a wind-proof outer shell. You don't need designer gear for this. A plastic tarp, garbage bag, or poncho can work just as well. Rip open a trash bag and wear it over your clothes like a cape, or cut armholes to turn it into a makeshift jacket. It may look ridiculous, but it transforms you into a mobile, weatherproof barrier. If you can stop the wind from getting in, you keep your body's furnace sealed tight. Bonus trick: stuff your layers. One of the most overlooked hacks in cold survival is stuffing your jacket. If you're starting to shiver, find anything dry, grass, straw, paper, even clothing scraps, and shove it into your outer layers. You're essentially upgrading your jacket's insulation on the spot. Every pocket of still air you create adds another barrier between you and the freezing air outside. It doesn't have to be perfect. Survival isn't about aesthetics. It's about trapping heat and keeping it there. Head and extremities. Protect the command center. There's a myth that you lose 90% of your heat through your head. It's not true, but your head, hands, and feet are highly vascularized, meaning they lose heat faster than most other parts of your body. Cover them well. Your brain also begins to malfunction when it cools down. One of the earliest signs of hypothermia is confusion, which often leads people to remove their clothing because they feel hot. That's a deadly illusion. When that instinct hits, ignore it. Tighten your layers, cover your head, and ride it out. Your body is fighting for its life. Help it by sealing in every degree of warmth. Method 2. The debris hut, nature's sleeping bag. If you ever find yourself stranded with no tent, no sleeping bag, and no modern shelter, the debris hut is your best defense against freezing to death. It's one of the oldest survival shelters known to man. Simple, silent, and incredibly effective. Think of it as nature's sleeping bag, made entirely from what's around you. The concept: insulation over comfort. A debris hut isn't designed for comfort, it's designed for survival. The goal isn't to make a cozy cabin, it's to create a small, insulated pocket that traps your body heat the same way your clothing layers do. When built properly, a debris hut can raise the interior temperature dozens of degrees higher than the air outside, using nothing but your own warmth. Step 1. Build the frame. Start with a long, sturdy branch, about the length of your body, to serve as the ridge pole. Prop one end up against a tree trunk or rock at about waist height. This will be your central spine. Then lean smaller branches along both sides of the ridge pole, forming a triangular frame that resembles a small tent or animal den. This skeletal structure will support the insulation. Don't make it too large, smaller is better. The tighter the fit, the less air you need to warm up. Step 2. Add the insulation. Now it's time to bury your structure in insulation, and lots of it. Use whatever you can find. Dry leaves, pine needles, grass, moss, or even dry bark. Avoid green or wet materials. They trap moisture, not heat. Pile it thick. Really thick. 2 feet deep is the minimum, but more is better. Think of it like burying the skeleton of your shelter under a mountain of natural insulation. When it looks overdone, add more. Step 3. Seal yourself inside. Once you've got your hut built, crawl inside. It should feel tight, even a little claustrophobic. That's good. The smaller the airspace, the faster your body heat can warm it up. The smell of earth, leaves, and decay might be unpleasant, but if it smells like the forest floor, you're doing it right. Inside, line the ground with extra debris before lying down. Never sleep directly on the dirt. That's how conduction robs your heat. A thick bedding of leaves or grass beneath you will add as insulation between your body and the frozen ground. Step 4. Plug the entrance. Once you're inside, close off the opening with more debris, grass, or even a backpack. The goal is to keep wind from rushing in and stealing your warmth. You want your shelter to be as airtight as possible while still allowing you to breathe comfortably. It works. A well-made debris hut turns your body into the heat source and your shelter into a heat trap. You're not heating the air, you're preventing the heat from leaving. Even without a fire, The inside can remain survivable in temperatures far below freezing. It's how people have survived for millennia before tents, sleeping bags, or electricity ever existed. Final tip: test and adjust. If you feel cold inside, that means air is leaking, or your insulation is too thin. Get up, patch the holes, and pile on more debris. The more material you use, the more warmth you keep. Method 3. The Mylar Burrito. Reflect your own heat. In survival, the greatest resource you have is not fire, gear, or luck. It's your own body heat. The human body is constantly radiating warmth, even in the harshest environments. The challenge isn't producing it, it's keeping it. That's where Mylar, the thin reflective material found in those cheap-looking silver emergency blankets, becomes one of the most effective and underrated survival tools ever made. It might look flimsy, almost like oversized candy wrapper foil, but Mylar operates on pure physics, and physics doesn't lie. The human body emits infrared radiation, invisible heat energy, at all times. Mylar reflects up to 97% of that radiant heat back toward your body. In simple terms, it turns your own heat into a mirror, bouncing it back instead of letting it vanish into the cold. How it works. The thermos effect. Imagine you're inside a thermos. Your body generates heat, and the reflective surface traps it by sending it right back. The result: you conserve energy, your temperature stabilizes, and you survive longer. That's exactly what a properly used Mylar blanket does. But properly used is the key phrase here. Most people who die in cold conditions while having a Mylar blanket made one crucial mistake: they used it wrong. Don't wear it like a cape. When panic sets in and the cold bites hard, it's easy to wrap yourself up like a superhero and hope for warmth. But when you drape a Mylar blanket over your shoulders like a cape, it becomes a sail for the wind. The slightest gust can shred it, or worse, carry heat away instead of trapping it. The wind moves the air between your body and the blanket, breaking the insulation barrier that Mylar is meant to create. Instead, use Mylar as a layer, not as outerwear. It performs best when sandwiched between other materials, like between a blanket and your jacket or inside your sleeping setup. This keeps it stable and allows it to do what it's made for: reflect radiant heat back to you. Using Mylar the right way. Here's how to use it effectively in different situations. As a heat reflector, wrap the Mylar around yourself, snugly inside a layer of fabric, not directly against your skin. You want to trap a thin layer of warm air between the Mylar and your body. As a ground barrier, cold seeps in from below through conduction, and the ground will steal your warmth faster than the air will. Laying Mylar beneath you blocks that heat transfer and acts as a shield between your body and the earth. As a shelter liner, tape or pin Mylar sheets to the inside of your shelter, walls, roof, even under the bedding. You'll turn your tent, car, or debris hut into a heat-reflecting cocoon. Every bit of warmth you radiate bounces back inside instead of escaping into the cold night. As clothing insulation, if you have a jacket or coat, line the inside with strips of Mylar. It makes an instant upgrade: lightweight, waterproof, and heat-reflective. Improvised alternatives. If you don't have a Mylar blanket, don't panic. You can improvise. Aluminum foil reflects heat the same way, though it's more fragile. Reflective bubble wrap, or even car windshield shades. The kind with the shiny side work remarkably well. Just remember the rule: shiny side in. That's the side that bounces your heat back toward your body. Why? In a total blackout or wilderness survival scenario, Mylar is one of the most efficient ways to preserve warmth without using a single calorie of energy. It's silent, smokeless, and invisible. No glow, no smoke, no smell to give you away. In survival, that makes it worth its weight in gold. When the cold wants your heat, you don't fight it with fire. You fight it with reflection, insulation, and ingenuity. A crinkly silver sheet might not look like much, but used right, it can save your life. Because sometimes, the smartest way to stay warm is to let your own body do the work. Method 4. The water bottle radiator, the portable furnace. Sometimes all you have is a bottle, some water, and your own determination not to freeze. The water bottle radiator is the simplest, most effective form of portable heating you can create with basic tools. It's survival engineering at its purest, transforming water into a reusable heat source that can save your life. The science behind water has a unique property: it retains heat extremely well. Once heated, it cools slowly, radiating warmth for hours. By harnessing this, you can create a human-sized radiator that keeps your core temperature steady through long freezing nights. There are two main ways to use this method. One, if you have access to a heat source, and one if you don't. Option 1. When you have a heat source. If you have any source of warmth, even briefly, you can make a hot water radiator. Use a metal or thick plastic bottle. Avoid thin plastic, which can warp. Fill it with hot, not boiling, water. Boiling water can melt the bottle or burn you. Wrap the bottle in a sock, towel, or cloth to prevent direct contact with your skin. Place it near your core, the chest, abdomen, or inner thighs, areas that circulate heat efficiently. Once sealed and insulated, that bottle becomes your night-long heating unit. Tuck it inside your jacket or sleeping bag, and it will radiate warmth steadily for hours. As it cools, it transitions from heater to hydration source, giving you drinkable water when morning comes. It's a perfect dual-purpose tool, one bottle, two life-saving function. If you're in a car, a recently running engine can heat water safely. If you're outdoors, you can heat stones in a fire and place the bottle near them, but not touching, to warm the water indirectly. Even sunlight trapped under black plastic can provide enough heat during the day to make this work. Option 2. When you have no heat source. If you're completely cut off, no fire, no electricity, no engine, your body itself becomes the heat source. Fill a bottle with room temperature or cold water. Seal it tightly, and press it against your skin, ideally near your stomach or armpit. These areas have dense blood flow and are excellent for heat transfer. Your body will slowly warm the water over time. Once it feels warm to the touch, move it down to your feet or legs. The water, now acting as a thermal mass, radiates your own heat back to you, a closed-loop system powered entirely by your body. You become the engine, and the bottle is your heat battery. It might seem slow, but it works astonishingly well in confined spaces like vehicles, tents, or makeshift shelters, where your body heat has nowhere to escape. Practical survival uses for sleeping. Place one bottle near your core and another near your feet. Cold feet drain heat from your entire body, so warming them first helps stabilize your temperature. For travel, slip a warm bottle under your clothes while walking or resting. It keeps blood flowing and prevents your core temperature from dropping. For shared warmth, two people can share one warm bottle in a sleeping bag or shelter, alternating it between them to conserve energy. Why it works so well. The water bottle radiator is a survival trick that combines thermal science with practicality. Water's high heat capacity means it can store a large amount of energy and release it slowly, far more efficiently than air, fabric, or metal. In the absence of fire, it's the closest thing to carrying a portable heat source. Even better, it's sustainable. You're not burning fuel, you're not wasting calories, chopping wood, and you're not giving away your location with smoke or light. It's warmth through ingenuity, a silent, renewable source of comfort in an unforgiving world. Method 5. The cardboard cocoon, turning trash into thermal armor. In the chaos of a blackout or collapse, warmth often hides in the most unlikely places, even in garbage. One of the most powerful, overlooked survival tools you can find in any city, alley, or abandoned store is cardboard. That humble, throwaway material that once carried your Amazon deliveries can literally keep you alive when temperatures drop below freezing. It may not look like much, but cardboard is a thermal barrier in disguise, light, flexible, and full of trapped air. And in a survival situation, trapped air equals insulation, and insulation equals life. Why cardboard works. The secret behind cardboard's effectiveness lies in its structure. Most cardboard is corrugated, meaning it has ridges and layers, one flat sheet glued to a wavy one. Those wavy gaps hold pockets of air, which act as a natural insulator. Air is a poor conductor of heat, so when it's trapped inside a structure, it slows the escape of warmth from your body. This is the same principle used in modern insulation, double-pane windows, and even down jackets. All rely on air pockets to hold warmth. So when you surround yourself with cardboard, you're essentially wrapping yourself in an urban-made insulation suit. It's not fancy, but it works astonishingly well. How to use cardboard for survival under your body. Stop ground chill dead in its tracks. The #1 killer in cold conditions isn't air temperature, it's heat loss through the ground. The earth absorbs your warmth through direct contact, a process called conduction. Lying on a cold floor, concrete or soil can drain your body heat faster than the wind ever could. The fix is simple. Layer cardboard beneath you. Flatten several boxes and stack them like planks to form a thick pad. Even 1 inch of layered cardboard can create a massive difference, acting as a thermal shield between you and the cold ground. Around your shelter, build a cardboard fortress. Whether you're in a tent, a car, or a makeshift room, drafts are your enemy. Cold air sneaks in through cracks, windows, and unsealed doors. Cardboard can seal those openings quickly and effectively. Tape or wedge flatten pieces against windows, vents, and open gaps. The added layers block wind and create a still airspace that traps heat. A small shelter fully lined with cardboard becomes a heat-trapping cocoon, retaining warmth like a primitive insulation chamber. On your body, improvised armor against the cold. If you're caught outdoors with little to wear, cardboard can save your life. Slide sheets under your jacket or tape small pieces around your torso and thighs. The critical heat zones. You'll look absurd, but survival isn't about style. It's about keeping your core temperature above 95 degrees. The air pockets inside the cardboard act as mini heaters, reducing the heat your body loses to the air. It's the same idea behind ancient soldiers lining their armor with wool, only this time, your armor is made of yesterday's packaging. Inside a vehicle, make a cardboard cave. During winter blackouts or breakdowns, cars turn into death traps. The metal body radiates heat outward, while cold air seeps in through every gap. But with cardboard, you can transform a car into a survival capsule. Line the seats, doors, and floor with flattened boxes. Block the windows except one small crack for ventilation. Even a thin layer can increase the interior temperature by several degrees, buying you precious time through the night. Why it matters when disaster strikes. Cardboard becomes urban gold. It's everywhere, free and lightweight, yet incredibly effective at keeping heat where it belongs. Homeless people have relied on it for decades, not because it's convenient, but because it works. In a world where supply chains collapse and heating systems fail, the ability to turn waste into warmth is a superpower. Cardboard doesn't just keep you alive, it turns desperation into ingenuity. Remember, in survival, you don't need high-tech solutions. You need high-awareness solutions. And sometimes the thing that saves your life might be sitting in a trash bin behind a grocery store. 8. Method 6. The huddle, the warmth of life itself. When the temperature plummets and the cold starts clawing at your bones, there's one source of heat more reliable than any fire blanket or shelter. Another human being. It's primitive, instinctive, and brutally effective. The huddle is one of nature's oldest survival strategies, used by wolves, penguins, soldiers, and disaster victims throughout history. When everything else fails, shared body heat can mean the difference between frostbite and survival. Why the huddle works: every person radiates heat about 100 watts of energy per hour. The same as a light bulb. Alone, much of that heat escapes into the air. But together, in close contact, that energy stays trapped between bodies. When 2 or more people press close, their combined warmth creates a microclimate, a pocket of warm air that can be 10-20 BUFs higher than the surrounding environment. This stops heat loss through radiation and convection, keeping everyone warmer for longer. It's biology, not sentiment. Your body doesn't care about personal space when it's freezing. It cares about survival. Group strategy, the power of proximity. If you're not alone, use it to your advantage. Sit or lie close together, preferably side by side or back to back. Use shared blankets or sleeping bags to trap body heat more efficiently. The tighter the group, the warmer you stay. This is why rescue workers often advise people stranded in snowstorms to huddle together instead of spreading out. 2 people pressed back to back can cut their total heat loss by nearly half. 3 or more can create a heat bubble powerful enough to raise core temperatures in freezing air. In a tent, shelter, or vehicle, position everyone close and cover yourselves with one large layer, blanket, tarp, or even cardboard. Your collective body heat turns that enclosed space into a living furnace. Even animals know this secret. Emperor penguins endure Antarctic temperatures by huddling in giant clusters, rotating inward and outward so no one freezes. Humans can do the same, shifting positions through the night so everyone stays evenly warm.